So yesterday I did a video where I compared the lyrics of Jason Isbell to those of Kid Rock. And when I did that, I saw several people in the comment section saying, I've never heard of Jason Isbell. Or, I have a couple people message me like, hey man, I've never listened to Isbell before I heard you name drop him in that video, and I'm listening to his stuff and I'm digging it. What albums would you recommend? So it got me to thinking, I've used this platform to do a lot of political and social commentary style videos, and we've debated songs that have come out this year and what they mean, or what they don't mean. And I thought, it would be good to use this platform to promote some good music, because some of the best music that's ever been made is being made right now. And a whole lot of people don't know that, because if all you do is drive back and forth to work every day listening to mainstream radio and that's all you're hearing, then yeah, I'll agree with you that 98% of that crap's garbage. I wouldn't want to hear that. It's funny because a lot of times when I turn people on to bands I listen to, they'll say things like, well, I didn't know that was country music. I didn't think that was country music. And I'm like, well, it's because you've just been listening to the mainstream and letting them define it for you. There's a whole lot of people that thinks music's dead and that it's not as good as it used to be. I would argue that it's better than ever. It's just that you've not heard it. And if, you try to introduce a lot of people to new music, they'll say stuff like, well, I've never heard that on the radio. Well, if mainstream radio sucks and you don't like it, then shouldn't you want to get off the radio? Shouldn't you want to dig a little deeper and find something else? Why is that the standard by which you hold everybody if that's what you hate? That's never made any sense to me, but enough about that. Let's talk about music. And before I do, I know I'm going to forget people. I know I'm going to leave people off, and I'm going to feel like crap for it. So you guys, drop your favorite bands in the comments. Let me know what you listen to. Let me know what's out there. If I missed anybody, remind me of it, because I want to get the good music heard. Jason Isbell is one of my favorite songwriters. I would highly recommend his album Southeastern. That's his masterpiece to me, and he just re-released a new version of it with the demos and everything on it. It's perfect. His latest album, Weather Vanes, it's badass too. Check that one out. He came out of my all-time favorite band, the Drive-By Truckers, and I could do an entire video talking about what the Truckers means to me. I have seen them over 40 times in concert. They're the closest thing in my life to religion. Actually, I have music, and then I have the Drive-By Truckers. Like, I'll listen to music, but the Truckers is my drug of choice. And if I was going to name their albums, I would put the Southern Rock Opera, Decoration Day, and Dirty South up against anything Skinner, the Allman Brothers, the Stones, the Beatles, Pink Floyd ever did. It's just masterful music, and it changed my life and saved me and kept me here. They have a song called World of Hurt, where Patterson Hood, the lead singer-songwriter, says, I was 27 years old before I figured out blowing my brains out wasn't the answer. If I could ever meet Patterson Hood, I would just say that song is what kept me from doing it. That song's what kept me here. So, I could sit here all day and rant about the Drive-By Truckers, but there's a lot of good stuff out there being made. I'm sure you guys have heard names like Tyler Childers, Chris Stapleton, Sturgill Simpson, people like that. They came out of Kentucky, and there's a vibrant scene right now happening in Kentucky with all sorts of great bands up there. There's people like Laid Back Country Picker. He's one of my favorites. Luna and the Mountain Jets, Cody Lee Meese, Nicholas Jamerson and Sunday Best, Rye Davis, Donovan Howard, Brandon Martin, Donnie Bolin, Jory Bolin, Aaron Boyd, Sydney Adams. There is so many that I know I'm forgetting some. Then, there's a whole lot of people in the underground that a lot of people don't know about, like, Mike and the Moon Pies, the Wilder Blue, Band of Heathens, Lucero. There's guys that's been around forever, like Ray Wiley Hubbard, who I got to open up for once. James McMurtry is one of my favorite songwriters of all time. He's been doing it a long time. His dad, Larry McMurtry, wrote Lonesome Dove. Then you've got people like Lucinda Williams. She's like a queen and a goddess in my mind, one of my favorite songwriters ever. And there's people like Brent Cobb, Paul Thorne, Coulter Wall, the Turnpike Troubadours, Blackberry Smoke, the Wrinkle Neck Mules, the Waygoners. There's so many bands out there that I love and listen to on a daily basis. There's a lot more guys, like I said, that's been around a long time, like Joe Ely, people like that. I love him. And then if you just drive south down to Knoxville a little ways, there's all sorts of great music being made by people that I consider friends. There's people like the Barstool Romeos. There's Mick Harrison and the High Scorer. There's Kevin Abernathy, Handsome and the Humbles. There's Brian Paddock, although I think he moved to Chicago. We won't hold it against him. We still love him. There's the V-Roys. There's Jeff Lane. There's Dean the Artist. There's Kelsey's Woods, Tractor Head, Greg Horn, Pat Beasley Band, Southern Cities, the Barefoot Movement. And we can't forget the ladies. We got people like Trisha Jean Brady, Red, Jen Tackett, Beck and the Starlight Review, Reagan Boggs, Morgan Wade, Cecilia Wright, Sonora May, Lauren Beeler, the Pinklets, Sierra Farrell. And I could sit here and name them all day long, and I know that I've left off 20 more people, and that's why I want you guys to put them in the comments, because there's so much good music out there being made. If all you're doing is limiting yourself to mainstream radio, then you're missing out. Now, I know that pretty much everybody these days listens on apps. Whether you listen on Spotify or you listen on Google or YouTube or Apple or whatever you listen on, I know for a fact that they all have a button that says similar artists. So if you dig into a band like Mike and the Moon Pies and you like how they sound, or you dig into someone like Morgan Wade and you like how she sounds, then hit similar artists and don't be afraid to click on names you've never heard of. That's how I discovered so much music, really. At the end of the day, you know, in recent years, that's how I discovered things. You know, I knew I loved the Drive-By Truckers, so what else is like the Drive-By Truckers? And when I hit that button and I found Lucero and Band of Heathens and people like that, I was like, fuck yeah. You know, I mean, there's so much stuff. And Sun Volt, I don't know how the hell I forgot them. Sun Volt, Knuckle Tupelo, all of that is just some of the most golden shit that's ever been made. It's out there. It's being made. It's being made right now. Some of your friends are making it, and instead of going to see them, you're driving past them to go see the same worn-out band that you've seen 1,000 times that everybody's tired of. And people don't just do that with music, by the way. I used to work at a donut shop. It was a local, homegrown donut shop. We made our own original donuts. People would drive past us to go to Knoxville and come back and say, we stopped at the Krispy Kreme. And they're the same kind of people that will sit and listen to Jason Aldean, and they'll bitch about it. Man, I had to go with my wife to see him, and God, it sucked. Well, go listen to Isbell, buddy. Listen to something that's worth a damn. You don't have to sit there and eat that same old Big Mac. You don't have to sit there and eat the McDouble and the McChicken. You don't have to eat the Wendy's single. There's other options. You know, Jason Isbell himself one time said, and I know I'm going to mess this quote up, but he said, no one is forcing you to eat McDonald's. There's a lot of good burgers in this town. You know, that's it. There's a lot of good burgers out there. Go try one other than the McDouble and see what you think about it. Let me know what you liked. Let me know what I forgot, because there's a whole lot of good music being made, and we can all sit here and we can debate the songs all day long, and I will. Tomorrow, if somebody writes a shitty song that gets a bunch of right-wingers, gives them a hard on, I'm going to come out and call it out. That's just who I am, okay? But I thought it would be cool to pause for a minute and tell you guys, go check out the good shit, because it's out there.